The thing is, like, I always knew I loved just like food and beverage. So I was like, okay, so what do we not have? What are we missing? And whenever I would travel, I would go and for some weird coincidence, go to all the donut shops. It just like became a thing. And I was like, I think donuts are kind of my thing. And then that's really how it was like, there's no donut shops in Miami. And then that's really where it sparked. Right when I was about to graduate, I was like, I want to do something a little more fun. And then one of like, you know how they do like school projects and things? It was like create a company. And so one of my projects, I created Salty Donut. And then I was like, I think I'm gonna do this for real. Like, why not? Let me just try it. So my parents are both Cuban, born in Cuba, and really they came from nothing. And so I think that that kind of inspired me also just like really to work for what you want. We started as a pop-up. And so the pop-up was just out of a vintage camper that my parents had lent me money to buy. And then a whole exact year after the pop-up launched is when we had our first store. When you're an owner, you really wear every hat at the beginning when you start a business. You're the accountant, the marketing, like just everything. I was operational, creative director, marketing, I did the Instagram. It was a lot. So I was like, how am I supposed to do all of this and then also raise a child? And so I was like, I need help. Like, if there's anyone that I could trust with our brand and our representation, it would be my brother.
The most exciting piece to me when I came on board is, we're not following anybody's footsteps. We're not saying we want to be the next Dunkin' Donuts or Krispy Kreme. We're creating our own path and something that we honestly haven't seen anyone do before. Being Cuban American is really important to me, to us as a family. And it's not really just being Cuban American. I think it's really just sharing culture, creating different flavors and creating different community activations and really touching all of our customers in different ways. I think really just that culture plays a really big role in that.
We now are at 5 stores. We have about 250 employees and counting. So I think we discovered it's just a lot of follow through. It starts from the recipe being great, the pastry chefs being great, your front of house team being able to spot if something's off, and then the follow through when things go wrong.
I think what she's done is incredible. Working side by side with her, it really shows the impact that she has not only on our business but in the community. And I think seeing her finish school, get married, have a baby, still run the business, it's really admirable.
Thinking back to my grandparents and my great-grandparents, just like if they could see where I am and like what their sacrifices and what they had to do so that they're like next in line, like what they could be and become. I think that's what means a lot to me. And then now with my son, it's really just like what then they provided to me that I could provide to him. And I think keeping that Hispanic culture and heritage within my son as well, because he was born in Miami, so now he's like 3rd generation. It's like something that I think we will never lose.
Did you ever have imagined this level of success for yourself and for your family?
I want to be humble and say no, but I don't think it was ever an option. And the reason why I say that is because my hatred towards what communism did and does to millions of people all over the world is what propels me to want to be extremely successful, because I am not special. I just didn't give up. I was born in Havana, Cuba, and I came to the United States when I was 2 years old. My family was one of the last bunch to escape communism. So I wind up in aviation, I would say, a little bit by chance, but I will say that when I was young, I remember that I would look outside my parents' minivan. I would sit in the last row, and as I would look out to the right, we would pass the Boca Raton airport, and I would always see these little jets coming in and out of it. And I remember sitting there and just thinking, one day I'm going to fly out of here. I don't know why I thought that, but I knew it with certainty. And lo and behold, on my first day at work, when I am taken to that airport and I realize where I'm at, I got chills up my spine. So at Journey Aviation, we manage other people's airplanes. Some of them are ours, but we do manage a lot of airplanes for other people. And as an airline, when those aircraft aren't being utilized, we put them out for charter. In general, we work with everyone and anyone that you would assume that flies private. Whether it's a celebrity or a politician, I think people trust us because we have a great team. And the question is always not what happens when everything goes right, but when something becomes challenging, who do you rather be with on the other side of that call? My clients, for the most part, I would say eventually become my friends. And it's easy because all we ever wanted to do was to take care of them. That's what really makes it worth it for me. It's not transactional, you know. The coolest thing about private aviation is that it sort of becomes the buffet of opportunities because there's so many side businesses that can come from it. We started with Journey Aviation, and we have multiple aviation companies at this point. We've added a total of 3 more. Creating jobs, that is the best feeling in the world and what keeps me going. Knowing that people have a great place to go, that they enjoy going, and at the end of the day, they're able to provide for their family. For me, entrepreneurship is something bigger than settling for a set pay grade salary where you're confined within a box. Being an entrepreneur breaks that box. But I would say that as an immigrant that came with nothing, there's only one way to go, and it's up. So the mindset is, how up can I go? The sky's the limit.
Take it slow with me.
Whenever I'm playing in any setting, my goal and outcome is for you to leave the show feeling like you just watched an action film, where you get that feeling where that you can do those crazy thoughts you've had in your head, those dreams that you've thought of forever maybe. I used to want to be an artist, and now I can just be myself. Songs don't have to be complicated to translate simplicity and the specificity and the story. So those elements make a great song across the board, in my opinion. And then a jamming beat. It's a rockin' beat, man. You get that beat, you get the...
Thank you.
Crew, we're at Bridgestone Arena to see Blanco Brown, Jimmy Allen, and of course, Nelly. Let's go! Who are we excited to see tonight? Nelly. Why do you love it? Grills. We saw Grills. Specifically the song Grills. Favorite Nelly song? Dilemma? What is your favorite Nelly song?
Oh man, that's hard.
Have you ever been stuck in a roundabout? You just keep going around and around, and you can't seem to get off. Experts say that's how mental illness and addiction work. One cycle fuels the other. And for those living through it, they can feel impossible to stop.
I go back and watch that all the time. And even before this happened, I would just go back and watch it because it would just crack me up so much.
It was easy for Eric O'Keefe to make his best friend, James Reason, laugh. The two met in an addiction recovery program at Adult and Teen Challenge in 2017. Best friends from day one.
And there's just chemistry right off the bat.
Their journeys with addiction began in similar ways. James says he used drugs and alcohol in high school to cope with his spiraling mental health. So did Eric.
He hated to be alone. He hated to be at home. And I think that's what brought up the depression in him. And I really feel like that's what led him to using, and especially this last time.
Eric had gotten clean like James. Then Eric got COVID-19 in April. He had to quarantine, which meant being alone. James called and texted for 2 days, but Eric didn't answer.
I knew this was happening, it's just like I knew it was happening, but there was just the speck of hope in me that I was wrong. And sure enough, when we opened the door and I saw him, I mean, it's just, it felt like a movie.
Eric overdosed. He was 30. Initial 2020 data from the Tennessee Department of Health shows fatal overdoses increased to new alarming levels, likely caused by the pandemic. Overdose deaths from January 2020 to September 2020 already surpassed all of 2019.
Even though the world, so to speak, stopped and shut down, their addiction wasn't quarantined.
Eric's former counselor, a recovering addict himself, says we need to be more connected to one another more than we are.
If you are in a situation to where you feel like maybe I haven't heard from this person in a while, I need to check on them, I believe that's not just a coincidence.
What would you say, as that good friend that you are, to other friends that want to help their friend?
Continue to be there for them and be somebody that's willing to listen and willing to help, and encourage them to seek help and seek treatment.
Now, James is committed to help others find the exit to a life free from addiction. In Chattanooga, Eryn Cooper, News Channel 9.